welcome. Help me welcome Priscilla.
Yesterday I was talking with a dear friend about writing at our age, and I've had a number of people say to me, are we still relevant? And I said to her, well, we have our own audience, and everybody knows love and grief and loss. So this is a reading about love, grief, and loss. The night she died, she woke long enough to say, this is stupid. What made her rise up in the stark light of the lamp? How was she cogent after days of drifting in and out of consciousness? Rose-colored sheets softened the texture and tone of her skin, and I saw my friend through the skeletal frame of her dying. Through the skeletal frame of her dying, I couldn't find her. Memory brought her back to me. Once she asked if I believed in life after death. She wouldn't talk about the cancer. She didn't say that this time she would die. We sat on a bench in a concrete park on the Upper West Side, a world I'd left behind. All she said was that her husband now realized they would not grow old together. I felt the spritz of a light rain or drops from an air conditioner several floors up. She twirled a tea bag in her paper cup, but she did not look at me. She did not look up at me. Instead, she talked about her books. She'd ghostwritten 4, none of them the ones she wanted to write. Help me, I'm sad. And Midlife Can Wait were the ones I tried to read, but her dust-ridden hardbacks sat at the bottom of my bookcase. Every year I tried to throw them out, topics now dated. Who would read them? This year I ripped out her dedications, saving the torn pages, tossing her books. After saving the torn pages, I tossed the books into a dumpster. They aren't her, I told myself, and they weren't. This need to clear a shelf to make room for other books I could not help. I have the frayed pages with her handwritten notes to me in an envelope with her name on it, in a plastic box on my closet shelf. I do get rid of things. All those years of convent school when everything I owned had to fit into one blue metal truck taught me to parse out what I kept. Every fall it would move with me until one year my mom said, when my mom said, take everything you want. I'm throwing it all out. I should have believed her. My mother let go of 2 husbands and a house. Letting go of things is something I got from my mother. When I divorced, she told me I gave too much. She always held a little of herself back. When she died, there were a few letters, photos, an elegy I'd written for Nick. My friend said, take a dish towel, something she used every day. Why keep the stuff from those we love? The notes, a rosary, all relics entombed in a box. Once in a guided meditation, I felt my soul rise from my body into a cloud of particles like dust and light. It startled me, and I sank back into my flesh. It made me cherish this imperfect composite of bone, muscle, brain, the body, home for all loss, all longing, and a hunger born in the embryo of sperm and egg, invisible nuclei that goad me to live. How this hunger goads me to live, when even now I see my own death coming. Like any human fool, I still live in my dreaming, live also in memory of the young woman I did not know I was. In a photo, I am on a dock in Maine, slouched over a lobster roll, mayonnaise dripping onto my bare legs. Where's my head that day? On the odor of creosote-treated wood, or on some lover who was eluding me? I hope it was the thick white flesh, the soft texture of the roll, and the slap of waves hitting the dock, a resplendent sky, sun moving west from our old coast. Thank you. Okay, it's interesting because it's just opposite what it means in music, and music lyrics often mean words, but a lyric poem is more musical, and it is usually a short piece, short lines. It captures the moment. It has narrative elements to it. The success of the story really is crucial to a narrative poem, but lyric poems are, I guess, more bits of the soul that are crafted. It's the best way I can describe it. Well, writing is a very solitary activity, and poetry especially so, I think, or at least it feels that way to me. I think with lyric poetry, you're living with the deepest bits of your soul. You're trying to shape them and craft them. And I couldn't do that without community. You know, I said to you, Paul, and I started years ago. I was in my 20s in the village. We were at my first reading, and then there was my first open reading, and they had just in New York City passed the dog poop scoop law, and this woman got up and she went, dog, shit, Gestapo, and she clamped, and the whole room reverted. And it was sort of my entree into the world of poetry readings. But, you know, what's been wonderful for me is how caring and supportive the community is. And, you know, at first I thought it was just up by us in Sussex County because we really work hard to, each group supports each other. But across New Jersey, I'm finding that's true. And I think you all find that here. We need each other. David and I have had many conversations about this. Well, I'm bad. I'm notoriously slow. I want my poems to be brilliant, and some people are much better at doing that more quickly. I mean, I know we have this wonderful writer, Jean LeBlanc, up by us, and she puts out a book every couple of years, and it's a wonderful book. For me, it's a very slow process, so I think you kind of have to honor your own way of doing it. The impulse to be heard is a very young impulse, and it's a normal one. It's a way of connecting. And I sometimes warn people, okay, 10 years from now, people are going to be able to read that, so make sure when your name's attached to it that you're proud of it. Oh, yeah, I'm proud of it, you know. But it's a good thing, and it's part of the developmental process. Okay.